we hope, not a false alarm. Last week we were ready to go and almost had to, I guess maybe go through a whole nother style of routine trying to figure out what to do next. Excited to play Howard and, you know, looking forward to getting back at it again. It's been so long since we played. A guy asked me this morning, said, so what kind of adjustments have we made? I said, well, you know, I don't know what kind of adjustment we made at this point. We've been working against ourselves so long, we feel that we're back in the preseason again. But we're back at it this morning, getting ready for Howard. Had a chance to look at Howard a good bit now and study them a little bit. And, you know, they're kind of similar to us, to be perfectly honest with you. They had those big games earlier. They had Maryland and Rutgers. You know, both those guys beat them up pretty good, and then they got into the conference and go on the road to Morgan and got this deal with Hampton. Hampton's pretty good. Hampton beat them up a little bit. And then they go on the road and win at Norfolk, which surprised me a little bit. Thought Norfolk would give them a, you know, a tough time up at Norfolk, so that gives me a little different kind of respect for them. You know, the fact that they've gone on the road and actually won a conference game, technically for all practical purposes, they've got as many conference wins as we do. So we got our work cut out for us. The field guy, they got a running back that's got about 600 yards. They're playing two quarterbacks, an older guy and a young guy. You know, they're kind of similar in the fact that, you know, they're both tall range athletic guys. And as always, Ray Petty's defense, the defense coordinator there, are always, well, the defense is always good. So we got our work cut out for us, given our circumstances, for the fact that we've been so long since we played. So we're back at it, yes.
So you mentioned it felt like a preseason. Have you been able to, like, I guess, go back with the young guys especially and get some more work in?
Well, doing the open week, because we had that week first, we called ourselves trying to go back and work some of the younger guys. We had so many young guys playing. Generally what would happen would be we like work a lot of young guys trying to see if we could get them ever to play. But now, because we were playing most of them this year, you know, we were back into kind of a spring training kind of mode, trying to work some of the kinds of things that we need to do to make sure that they got, you know, the additional work that they needed to get a little bit more experience. But now that we've gone through a second week of it, you know, and last week's practice was mostly in preparation for Bethune. You know, you go all the way up to the point where you try to figure out, you know, what you're trying to do for Bethune, and right before you get there, then you got to change in the middle of the road and then go another direction. So, you know, it's different. But, you know, we got Bethune completely out of our system, and we're on to Howard. And, you know, we feel like, you know, it's a good opportunity for us to get going again in a way where if we go out and play good, then we ought to have a chance to be, you know, in pretty good shape. But we got to play good.
Most coaches want to, you know, tell the guys to look at it as a, you know, several seasons in the season where the conference, and you've already had one conference game, but does it feel like this is going to be the second part of the season right here?
Well, you would think that, but, you know, because we got so much farther to go, heck, we got, you know, I guess maybe 80% of our conference schedule left to go yet. We just at the beginning. So what we're doing at this point is simply trying to continue to be successful, continue to get a little bit better, continue to improve. Because this team is so young, then we're all about development and improvement and that kind of stuff. So this team, this week, we hope will be a better looking team the next week and the week after this.
You know, for the most part, your defense is something you can hang your hat on. You mentioned their defense being really good. If you're going to have success, sounds like you need to get the offense going, and it got going against FAMU. What's it going to take from what you've seen to get going up there for the next game?
Let's hope that we got great ideas, great indicators of the things that we need to stop, and an understanding of what we're trying to deal with as far as some of their, you know, keys and tendencies and that kind of sort of stuff. They've been, though, very similar to us on offense. And it's college football 101, you know, what they're doing as opposed to you know, what the rest of our league's doing. You see the same stuff now pretty much week in and week out. It's just different people. And, you know, I spent the weekend watching just football all over. I see everybody. You know, you see the Clemsons and the Tennessees and the Texas, all those guys, the Alabamas. And you see pretty much the same stuff now everywhere. And, you know, they're no different. And, you know, the key for us is whether or not our guys are far enough along that they can actually go out and actually stop a good college-style offense. You know, these guys, they played Mammoth this past Saturday. Ooh, I missed that.
That's fine, no problem.
They played Mammoth. Is that going to work? I didn't tear it up, did it?
That's good.
This past Saturday, and it was kind of a rain game, but the offense really looked good, and the field yard guy rushed for a couple hundred yards against them. So, you know, that scares you a little bit in the way that, you know, that you now know the last two games now, the offense has really come on. So you can see the improvement on their team. And, you know, they've actually got more games. They're a more experienced team than us. They've got 6 games in their belt, where we've only got 4. So, you know, it's a little bit of a deal where, you know, I'm concerned in a way where, you know, we need to really have, you know, our stuff together in order to get in there and be able to, you know, deal with these guys.
I know it's hard to judge them just practices and working out against each other, but what have you seen with the offense? I mean, Caleb's got some experience. You got the running backs who are starting to gain some, but they're really young. What are you looking at as far as where this might have been an advantage to get some more practices in and just get them on the same page?
And that's hopefully what we've done. We've got some of our key guys back that might not have made the Bethune game. But more than anything else, you know, because we're so young, it's almost every day, you know, is another day in the development of you know, of one of those guys. You know, you're talking about the Bishop Fords and the LeBron Marsons of the world. You know, you got a running back and Brandon, the Edwards kid that we playing some in the offensive line. You know, we playing those defensive line guys. So every day for them is almost, you can see sometimes the light come on in some of their eyes, and the fact that, you know, that you get a chance to do something that they didn't quite realize could be done this way or that way or whatever. So that's kind of that's the kind of the stage that we're at. And, you know, hopefully what will happen is you know, is you'll see the improvement from this point on. The key is not to be stale, you know, after, you know, it's not to come out and just kind of play lethargically because of the fact that we've been, but I was telling them Monday afternoon, I said, we ought to be real light-legged and enthusiastic about what we're doing. Like, everybody will be glad to be, and everybody's ready to be back on the field now. So, you know, I'm hoping that the enthusiasm and excitement of it all, you know, take us to a point where we really get a chance to get in here and get after these folks.
It wasn't supposed to turn out this way, but now it's like the team's, I guess, road warriors, because you're on the road so much and you didn't get to play the home game that you're supposed to. Is there any kind of, I guess, you know, feeling on the team where, hey, this is something we go to people's places and we can try to take care of business in places?
What it does for us more than anything else is it gives us a sense of the fact that you know, there's not much going to be thrown at us that we hadn't seen before. You know, we hadn't had to deal, we won't have to deal with any more physicality, you know, than we've dealt with. We won't have to deal with any higher level of schemes. You know, anything that we see at this point, you know, will be something that we'll have some kind of experience dealing with. So, you know, that gives you a confidence of sorts. You know, the thing that you got to realize, though, is that we got some guys in this league that can do some things as well as anybody. And you get that real sensation once you see it done some on film. The trick to our deal is you don't sometimes know exactly how you match up push-wise up inside. You know, those guys are so much bigger and stronger than us, and we think we may could be a dominant team some up front at our level. And if we can stay healthy, we starting to lose a couple guys. We've had a guy or two that's been banged up a little bit, and you know, although we get Philip Henry back, who I don't think necessarily might have made it because he was struggling with a back deal. You know, I think we're going to lose a Rod Perry, the kid that we had that had to look like, I think he broke his foot yesterday morning in practice. So you get some of that kind of stuff. It's, you know, give and take. We'll get a guy back, we'll lose a guy. You know, I'm excited about what I see, though, with some of those young up front guys that we have, because we think we got some pretty good ones. They just need some more seasoning.
Any other injuries from the last 2 weeks that might be nagging or
No.
in a way?
No, most of the rest of the guys, Jameson's out for the year. You know, we know that's done. I'm sitting here now thinking Rod Perry's now looks like he's gonna probably be out. We'll probably try to apply for some kind of hardship redshirt deal, you know, for him, which kind of works because, you know, that's kind of a best case, you know, scenario for him. I'm sitting here looking, you know, at this depth chart right now. I'm just kind of getting a little bit of a feel for who might be, you know, in the, I'm looking, let me see if I can find this thing. Yeah, York, College, Brown, Morris, Austin. Bernard James is still in there. We need to get him out of there. Colonel Carl, Marlon Ellis, we need to put Eric Dickerson in here. Bruce Johnson, Ty Carlson, you know, most of us, yeah. The only guy right now that's really down, that I know is down, that's new down, is Perry. So you got Perry and
Jameson.
And Jameson, you know. Okay.
How about just this stretch right here? I mean, you go on the road again for Howard and you finally get a home game after that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, could this really pick the season up and get things going the right direction?
It's gonna be strange coming home, having the first home game be homecoming. You know, the first thing we gotta do is we gotta win this game here so that we can make it,
Right.
you know, somewhat of a, somebody outside, come on in! That's all right. We need to try to do something to make sure that we make homecoming as exciting as possible.
Right.
You know, the worst possible scenario, you know, is to come back home from Howard after having gotten your butt cut, you know, so.
Yeah.
We got our work cut out for us to make sure that we set the table for coming back home. We had it kind of set before. That's one of the things, because we came back home after having went into Florida and them. Now you got to go back on the road and do it again, you know, so. It's the strangest deal now, having 2 road games and 5 games now before we come home, but